Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5 on Wednesday. This is a special episode as I'm counting down to Saleabration 2024, which kicks off tomorrow. Woohoo! One more sleep. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. I'm just going to move this lamp a little higher so it's not right in the middle of my face. And did I tell you I'm from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada? And today I am all about the beautiful Softly Stippled Designer Series paper from the Saleabration 2024 brochure. Now, this is another one of those items that starting tomorrow you can earn free with a qualifying purchase. Now, what's a qualifying purchase? Well, here in Canada, it is $60. So this beautiful pack of Designer Series paper can be had for free with a $60 order here in Canada. So I love this paper. I've had so much fun playing with it, and I am actually finding myself reaching for it for all sorts of projects. So I'm going to show you one project today that we're going to make together, and then I will show you a bunch of additional samples. And you're going to see it crop up a lot on some of my samples that you're going to see during my live launch party tomorrow, which brings me to the sort of highlight of the week, or the culmination of this little countdown, is my live launch party. So tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be live launching the new Mini Catalog and Saleabration. So get ready for some prizes, some giveaways, some tons of product displays, and tons of projects and make and takes. And it's my favorite event. I love doing these launches and showcasing a whole bunch of my favorite products from the new catalog. So I hope you'll join me. But tonight, as I said, we are all about the beautiful Softly Stippled Designer Series paper. So if you are joining me live, please give me a hello and let me know you're watching. And if you're watching the replay later on, please let me know that you watched it and whether or not you enjoyed it. So let's see who is here. Hi, Deb. Welcome. I got Deb and Deb Carbone and Deb St. Louis. So Deb from Cambridge and Deb from Calgary. Welcome to both of you. Hi, Susan from Pickering. Hi, Kimberly from South Carolina. Oh, you like my launches too. Well, I'm glad, Deb. It's I've been working really hard all week getting ready for it. Today was a little bit of a gong show. There was not a lot of prep happening today. We're having water issues, which I'm not going to go into now, but yeah, been a day. Anyway, I am live and it's all good. And my room is dry. My craft studio is dry, which is all that matters. Hi, Kenzie from Alberta. We've got Alexina. Oh, that's a beautiful name. Hi, from Nova Scotia. And Terry and Sue and Donna and Margaret. Well, thank you for joining me, all of you. So let's get to some stamping. I'm going to show you this beautiful paper and then we will make a project together. So I'm just going to switch to my desk view here, so I can show you this gorgeous paper. Now, this paper is, as I said, in the Saleabration brochure, but it actually coordinates with a bundle that is in the new Mini, which I will show you in just a minute. I'm going to showcase that bundle in more detail during my launch party on Thursday, but I will give you a little peek of it so you can see how it coordinates with the paper. But to start, this is the beautiful paper. So we kind of have this is a sort of a split personality paper, if you want to think about it this way. We have these beautiful cool tones in Pool Party, Gray Granite, Pebbled Path. And then on the reverse side, we have warm tones with Wild Wheat and Calypso Coral. So I love the fact that we have depending on what your color palette is, you can use either or. So let me show you each page, so you can see, I get a better idea of the details. So we have these beautiful sort of vines, and they look like dahlias, if you ask me, or maybe marigolds. And then we have just a smaller floral print in Pool Party. We have these gorgeous stippled roses. Now, I do want to mention, the first thing I did was check to see if they coordinate with the dies from the bundle, and they do not, okay? The actual image from the bundle is quite a bit larger. So one of the rare times Stampin' Up! Did not coordinate the DSP pattern with the dies. Now, that said, I do like the smaller scale of the paper because it works a little bit better for multiples on cards, and you'll see that in action today. And then we have this gorgeous texture. It's like a tweed texture, so pretty. And then we sort of have a painted texture. And then this gorgeous Pool Party linen, which you saw on my project that I demonstrated yesterday. So those are the cool tones. And then when we flip this over, we have warmer tones. So we have this sort of foliage image in the Wild Wheat. We have these beautiful dahlias in Wild Wheat, Calypso Coral, and a little hint of Pebbled Path. We've got roses, just a really subtle tone on tone in Calypso Coral. We've got, again, a sort of painted texture in the Calypso Coral. We've got another fantastic sort of, this looks like burlap almost, in the Wild Wheat. And then the painted texture in the Wild Wheat. So many textural patterns on this paper, and that's what I keep reaching for. I love the florals, but it's the textural patterns that I keep reaching for because they work with so many different products. So that is the beautiful paper that we're going to be playing with today. And I'm just going to quickly show you the bundle that it does coordinate with. So it's called Stippled Roses. Again, I'm going to be featuring this during my launch party on Thursday, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but we have some beautiful images, lovely fonts in the sentiments, and then coordinating dies. So again, you'll see more of that on Thursday. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but we are going to make a card. So let me show you the one we're going to make today. And that is this one. So I know it's a little early for Mother's Day, but you know, we crafters have to plan ahead. So here we go. This uses one of the sentiments from the stamp set. So in that beautiful font, there it is, the Happy Mother's Day, and some of the fussy cut DSP. So let's get to it. I'm first going to show you how easy and quick it is to add color to these fussy cut images. So again, these are cut from the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper. There are several different rose images that you can choose from. And we're going to just bring in a sponge dauber and some Cool Party ink. And we're just going to start in the middle. I'm going to start with my largest rose because it's easiest to see. And I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to start with my dauber moving. And I'm just going to work in a circular motion to add just a subtle little bit of color to my rose. Okay, so I'm not worrying about getting the leaves. I'm actually leaving the leaves as they are because I like the contrast of that. You certainly could color the leaves if you wanted to, and I'll show you a project later on that I did that with. And then same thing with the smaller blossom. And the thing about the stippled image is because it's kind of a little bit abstract, it's not super precise. You don't have to be super precise with your inking either. So it lends itself really well to just inking with a dauber like that. So if you are someone who doesn't really love coloring, this paper is super quick and easy to add color to without having to have a whole lot of coloring tools. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit there. And then same thing on this smaller image. So I'm going to start in the center. By starting in the center, it makes sure that the center of my rose is a little bit darker. Just make sure I get out to the edges of the petals there. If you don't have sponge daubers, you could actually use a Q-tip. This will work with a Q-tip. It takes a little bit longer because obviously you have a smaller surface area that you're applying your ink with. It will also work with our small blending brushes. I would not recommend trying this with the large ones. It's a little bit too hard to control where the ink goes with the larger brushes, but the small ones work quite nicely. And there we go. That's all there is to it. Easy peasy. All right. Now let's put this one together. So we've got these beautiful roses that are from the DSP. And then here again, I cannot get enough of this fabulous linen textured paper. It looks like it's bumpy. It's actually not. It's just smooth paper, but it looks like you want to touch it and it feels like it should feel like linen. So we're going to go ahead and layer our roses. Now I also have got some die cut leaves here. So these are die cut using, I'm just going to pull back the dies again, this die here from the bundle. Okay, there are several different sort of shape dies in this bundle, but this one just really adds some really nice subtle texture. So these are going to go right about there on my DSP, but I'm going to actually take this little leaf die cut and trim it up a bit. So I love it when we have a bunch of branches on die cuts because you can do one die cut and get all kinds of little bits and branches. So I have put adhesive sheets on the back of these. The dies, I'll show you in a sec. Can you see the texture that is cut? Oh, let's see if that, there we go. My camera takes a little bit to focus. It's got these little sort of impressions in the leaves, this texturing. Looks like stippling. And if you use liquid glue, it will ooze out through those little holes. So adhesive sheets or tape or glue dots are your friend when you're trying to adhere these guys. So that one's going to go right about there. So we're going to go ahead and stick that one down. I am going to still use my liquid glue just to make sure I don't run out of seal before I can get more refills. So we'll pop that on there. And then this one, we're actually going to trim up several ways. So we can kind of do this and this and this and get 3 little branches that we can sort of arrange in our opposite corner here. So we'll peel off our backing here. Whoops, I only got half of it. There was a joint. There we go. So we're going to add one there. And see if we can get this one off. I might have to get my paper pick. My fingernails are so dry and brittle right now. They do not like this winter weather and all of the dishwashing I have been doing over the holidays. We did a ton of entertaining of family and friends, and which meant a lot of cooking and a lot of dishes. So my nails are not in very happy shape right now. I need to go back to work to have a break. All right, so I'm just sticking these all down, kind of down in the corner, and then that is going to layer over top. You can see how the leaves are visible. So I'm going to add just a bit of liquid glue there and arrange that right about there. Okay, then we're going to add a little bit of this beautiful sheer ribbon. Now this is actually from the Holiday Mini, which today is the last day to order from the Mini. However, the good news is this ribbon is carrying over, which makes me very happy because it's beautiful ribbon. So I'm just going to cut enough to kind of run the top to bottom on my panel here. And I'm going to flip this over, and this is where I do need to use some seal because I find the glue dots are too small to hold this ribbon in place. So I'm going to just stick that down with a little bit of seal. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and adhere that to our white panel. So I forgot to mention, I think the size of this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then this one is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so it gives us a nice 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And look at that, my ribbon does not want to stick. This particular ribbon, it's so sheer, it's a little bit finicky to get it to stick down where you want it. I am going to run a bit of seal right over top of that so that it kind of gets sandwiched when I put my mat behind it. So here we go. We'll adhere this centered on our basic white mat, just like that. And then that is going to go on a gray granite card base. Now, these roses are actually Pebbled Path, but Pebbled Path and gray granite are very, very good friends. They like each other a lot, and they are very close in terms of the shading. So Pebbled Path and gray granite, if you are looking for sort of a team of colors to work together, those two work very nicely. So we're going to go ahead and add a bit of glue to the back of our panel here. My card base was 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're just going to center this. And I like the wider border on this. I feel like it really sets off that beautiful linen pattern paper. And then our last touch here is to stamp our sentiment. So here we have a couple of die cuts. These again are from the Thoughtful Expressions dies, more sneak peeks from the new Mini that you are going to see tomorrow night. So we're going to stamp on our white label using Pebbled Path ink. So I've got my happy mother. Oh, and look at that. There's a nice white cat here in my ink pad. Of course there is. Those two are always helping me out, and I use the word helping very loosely. So there we go. There is our sentiment. Oh, that's a good idea, Susan, to use tear and tape. Yeah, for this ribbon especially, tear and tape would probably be a really good solution. All right, I am going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of my stamped circle here. Not circle, label. It's this beautiful label. Love this shape. And I think there are 4 different sizes in the die set. So lots of options. Now this one's cut from Pool Party cardstock. So we're just going to center that on there. And then that is going to get adhered to the front of our card. Again, I'm going to use a bit of seal so that I hold my ribbon in place as I stick this down. Let's make sure this is right side up because, well, it wouldn't be the first time that I adhered something upside down. I'm sure you can all relate. And then we're going to add another little pretty bow with this beautiful ribbon. So we'll just make our bunny ears. Come on, there we go. And the thing I love most about this ribbon is that it ties such a nice tight knot that you get a beautiful bow that holds its shape really nicely. It does take a little bit of teasing because it is, as I said, quite sheer. But once you get it the shape you want, you end up with a really pretty bow. So let's just give this a trim. And we're going to grab our glue dots. And this is going to get glued right at the top of our label there. Just like that. Isn't that a pretty Mother's Day card? Now we need to add a little bling. So we're going to add some iridescent pearls. And let's do, I don't know, we'll do a large and a couple of smalls, I think. I had just finishing off a sheet, so I actually used 5 pearls on my sample. I don't usually use that many, but I was kind of finishing off a sheet, so I'm just going to use 3 on this one. And there we go. There's our finished card. You like that one? This paper is so pretty and so easy and versatile to use on such a range of projects, I should say. All right, what do we think? All right. Oh yes, Laura, so top to bottom. It's just a different look for the ribbon. I'm just looking at comments here. Okay, we like this card. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing, Sonia. I appreciate that. All right, let me bring in a few more samples with this beautiful paper. So here's one using that sort of warmer color palette. It's a bit of a fun fold. So it ties shut, and then when you untie the ribbon, it opens up like this. So this is a little bit of a pocket. So that's how I had my little leaves kind of peeking out. And then it opens up like that. So more die cuts, and really showcases that beautiful paper. So there's one. Here's another one in the same color palette. I was going for something a little bit less girly. I mean, this is still, it's got flowers. It's probably not really a masculine card, but if you didn't look too closely at the fact that those are flowers, I think it's really, really quite simple and a fairly masculine card. Here's one I posted earlier today with a really unexpected color palette. I never ever would have put these colors together. Pool Party, Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, and Wild Wheat. Not a color palette I would have ever chosen, but I simply looked at this beautiful DSP and pulled my shades from there. So I actually really love this palette, and I think I will probably use it again. Here is another one I posted earlier. Now this features a new embossing folder. I'll hold that up closer. It's hard to see because you can't see a lot of it, but it is a beautiful new folder called Layered Florals. It's a 3D folder, and oh my goodness, it's a real wow. Again, there is the same roses that we used on our card today, but I colored the, using Bubble Bath and Soft Seafoam. You can see here I actually did color the leaves using the same method, just with a couple of sponge daubers. And then finally, here's another Mother's Day take. I wanted something that was a little bit darker, so I used the Pebbled Path on this one. And because I was using a darker palette, I wanted the flowers to have a little bit more presence, so I actually colored them with Stampin' Blends. So I used my light Pool Party Stampin' Blends on the flowers, and then Soft Seafoam on the leaves. And again, added some more of the little die cuts to kind of tuck in behind. All right, so there you go. There's some ideas with the beautiful Softly Stippled Designer Series paper from the Saleabration 2024 brochure. Now let me just switch back to my face so I can say goodbye to you all. So just a reminder that tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be live with my live launch party. Now I'm also going to be live at 5 tomorrow because I still have more product from Saleabration I want to share. So I have one more make and take to share with you, and one more feature product, and then you're going to see a whole bunch of other Saleabration products throughout my launch party tomorrow evening. But I hope you plan to join me. If not for my launch party, then tomorrow at 5, and I will see you then. Have a great evening. Bye for now.